Hi everyone. So apparently I'm a pirate now because I'm Queen of Rum. So I'm also the one thing between you guys and food, and we're quite behind, which is for someone who's big on speed, not great. So let's get started. First question is actually, well, important after the previous one, because did Hyvä actually fix all our front-end issues? Yeah? No! No, I'm sorry. But, luckily there's a but. After the last time we talked, 1 year ago, you guys improved 16% in public data on core web vitals. So while you guys were at 50% last year, we are now at 66%, which is really great. So I think last year was very, very productive. So I'd say for next year, let's go to 80, right? Because together we absolutely can. You have a front end that works, we can get a back end that works, and if you have the right data, we'll get there. So, hi, my name is Karlijn. I think many of you guys know me. I'm from Groningen, the Netherlands, which apparently is Magento capital of the world. I wasn't aware of that, but somebody told me, so if it's not true, well, it's true! See, nice. I'm also the CEO and co-founder of RUMvision. I'm a board member of the W3C RUM community group and also MageOS, the Netherlands. And I'm big on RUM, hence the pirate, but also a lover of bad pumps memes, like good suck sells and bad suck sucks. So what do I mean with that? Well, I think many of you have heard this one before. Site speed user experience. What does a real user experience when they visit your site, when they use your front end? So first question, how do we actually measure speed? We use the core web vitals. I think all of you have heard of it. And we measure it on real users. So what it measures is loading speed, LCP, largest contentful paint, interaction to next paint, or IMP, and cumulative layout shift, or CLS. And we preferably measure it with a RUM, preferably mine, obviously, because a RUM tells you much more details on what your user experience. It tells you in real time, it tells you the whole story, and it actually tells you what went wrong over this very nice Core Web Vitals dashboard, which is always 28 days delayed, and not that insightful for you as a front-ender. Because if we look at the previous one, we'll see that the LCP was 4 seconds. But does that actually mean that everyone experienced the delay of 4 seconds? No. It's actually a curve, because no one experienced the same. But what did they experience? Well, some had an amazing experience. They had a great phone, they had a great internet connection, and everything came from the cache. It was super, super fast. Maybe they even used speculation rules, for instance. And then, all the way in the back, we have someone who actually experienced 6.5 seconds delay. He had a really, really bad time. He probably stepped into an elevator. But this whole sucks journey is important because we want to optimize for most of them. I don't know what happened to my E, but what we measure in the Core Web Vitals in the public dataset that you see is the 75th percentile. So if we have 40 people, then the 30th one gets measured. And some were happy and some were not. For instance, if you look at this curve, you'll see that only 55% had a good time, and the rest actually had a very, very bad time with IMP. And the thing is, though, it's not just one page that you want people to have a good experience on. You want them to have it on the whole journey, because if you started out fast and then you went to checkout and it took 6 seconds, you had a really bad time and you still bailed. We don't want people to feel frustrated on a site. We want them to have an effortlessly, frictionless experience so they see your product or your customer's product. Because if they bail on the first experience, for instance, then you're just never going to see them again. This goes for AI, this goes for usual subjects, this is just for everyone, you bail. So we need to stop looking at that 75th percentile, because 25 of the people who have food poisoning after this event would be bad, right? I mean, I think we're not waiting for that one. No? So why would you be happy with that on your site? Well, having no idea how bad it actually is. So it is time we look at the 90th percentile, where only 1 in 10 people have a bad experience. It's much more representative. Because if we focus our efforts here, we can actually improve the experience of everyone, except that poor guy who stepped into an elevator. He's just utterly doomed. So, welcome to the P90 Club. I actually see my videos are not working, so we'll get to that later. This is actually a dashboard into our new RUMvision, and it wants to showcase you guys that while you might think you're having a good time, and your customers do, if we look at other percentiles, like the 80th, which is orange, or the red one, which is actually completely red, you'll discover that you're actually giving a lot of your users a very bad time. It's also the benchmark of our platinum partners soon, so everyone who's golden, come talk to me, because we're gonna have to go to 90th. A side question that always pops up, I know, but what about that 100% green Lighthouse score? Yay, so important. Well, it's not. And I feel like we've talked about this. So it's not because it doesn't matter for SEO, it's not representative to your real users, and it's also can't interact. It's not telling you the complete story, it just stops. So if you still don't believe me, I added a QR code where for 20 minutes on previous Meet Magentos, I talked about why we should stop looking at that page speed score. And I'm moving on. So, introducing RUMvision 2.0. Because we relaunched and we completely refactored our RUM to make life easier for you guys in fixing those front-end issues. Let's start with media. So, code. What did you code? Well, let's have a look. You coded a nice image, and you put it on loading is lazy. You even added WebP. And you could use it for iframes and videos and lazy loading. That's awesome, right? That's very good for performance. Who here knows what went wrong here? And this is why we made RUMvision 2.0. No, you know what went wrong here. Tell me.
First time when I saw the new version of much more better inside, business orders, that I think was the best path. I needed a solution, a bit more technical, much more yeah, this is
Awesome. Yeah, so that actually tells us very much where RUMvision 2.0 is really helpful. But I was actually wondering if somebody spotted the code mistake that is here, which is that we have a hero WebP with loading is lazy. And a WebP is fine, but a loading is lazy on your hero means you actively delay your LCP, which is a very bad practice, because it's going to push back everything that the first few ports wants to see. So while this looks good, this is very bad. And now my videos aren't working, which is really too bad, because there was this very happy shipping people, because we're going to ship it. If you vibe code it, if you didn't know it, it just happens, it's fine, because now we have RUM. And our RUM is going to say, hey, nice shipping. However, here's a health check message. You accidentally lazy loaded your LCP on this template, and on mobile, and on desktop, and also on this template. And you might just want to fix that because you're accidentally delaying the LCP of all your users, and that's just not practical. So then you fix it. And while you were at it, you actually were like, you know what? I'm also going to give it a fetch priority high. Because a fetch priority high actually tells the browser, hey, this is my most important image that comes in at the very first moment my user sees it. This one is awesome. And that fetch priority high is going to push that nice WebP hero to your browser in mobile, and everyone gets a better experience. And then you repeat it. Code on. So why am I telling you this? Well, because we have a RUM and we have a lot of data. So what we're seeing in our data set, and this is data from March this year, so it's really recent, is that this LCP is lazy loaded issue in our own data set, which are actually people who are really quite focused on web performance, almost 30% accidentally lazy load their LCP. So it's a good fix to look into that. It's better than Magento. No, it's actually not better than Magento 2. Magento 2 has a big BG image issue, and you guys are background image. You guys don't have that, so that's nice, but still very important to keep your eyes on. Other media health checks that we perform. We check CLS issues, so unexpected shifts, and we just tell you where it is and how to fix it. We tell you when you've forgot to set your fetch priority, because 56% of Hyvä sites also miss that one. And also, if you accidentally have your background image as an LCP, we just give you a report on your own data in real time and tell you, hey, this is going wrong, and the fix is quite easy. The second one, the one we all love to bitch on, obviously, it's the easiest one. Third-party scripts. Well, through something called long animation frames, we have insights into all third-party delays on your IMP, which is fun, because you know that bitching you guys do is probably legit. Not always. I mean, TikTok or Facebook, actually not that bad. But if we're going to talk about cookies and hotjars and stuff, very, very bad. So it pops up in our code. How would it happen? Well, usually, somebody added it through GTM, like this one. So what are we looking at here? This is a third-party script. It actually came out in our data set quite recently. And what it actually did is it was an ad, and it wanted to make sure it got represented. So it made sure it was there and actually had every user wait 500 milliseconds for no reason at all, except that they wanted to be sure that that ad got loaded to the page. So that was really bad. Like, third parties should not delay you half a second through no reason except their own data collection. But this happens. Marketing has a GTM access. Yay, good times, good times. And we all get information quite late. So then we have RUM. And all the alerts went off like, whoa, what the fuck is happening? Why are we suddenly seeing a delay of 500 milliseconds? That's like crazy stuff. So how would we fix that? We could kill it. I mean, that's obviously what we want to do. What did we actually do, which was probably not much better but efficient? We put it in the content security policy, because we needed to have a talk with marketing about what the hell they were doing. This is actually sort of efficient if something pops up and you haven't had time to talk to marketing yet. However, they do get mad at you if you do it. So the most effective thing to do would be to talk to people, I know. So what did we do? Both us and the client reached out to that third party, and we said, hey, look, crazy stuff's happening. And they changed their code, and the problem was solved. And I know, nobody wants to talk to someone. It's like, ugh. But being right always helps, I think, right? I mean, if we're on the right side of history, it's better. But also, yeah, still annoying. So how would you deal with other third parties? Because you're not always going to be able to do this or kill it with fire. Well, I came up with this term, the 3 Rs, which is remove, replace, or reroute. Remove. Yes, this means that you guys have to talk to marketing again, but you'd be surprised how much of third parties are actually not being used. Well, they just have no idea it's still running. So always ask them, hey, are you still actually using that heat map? Because otherwise, we might as well delete it. Replace it, especially for cookie consents. This is a very legit one. Because I don't know if you guys can read this one, but for instance, if we look at CookieBot, it's 532 milliseconds on IMP, which is crazy slow. But if we look at CookieYes, which is our benchmark data, you'd see, hey, still cookie consent, still making Europe happy, but users are happier as well. Or reroute it. Get it out of the way. Make sure your main thread is empty, your code gets in there first, your front end is loader, and then add all the bullshit like third parties. Except obviously RUMvision, you want that at first, right? Yeah. Yeah, so next one, BF Cache. Is there anyone not familiar with BF Cache? I won't be mad if you're not, but so what it does is if you push that back button on your phone, it instantly restores where you were. It basically freezes your page for a couple of minutes, and it makes sure that if you press that back button or forward button, it restores exactly where you were. So it doesn't have to reload the whole page. So what is then an issue with this? It's this piece of code, especially in Magento. It's cache control no store, because that tells the browser that no, it cannot freeze your page. That's a terrible idea. You need to always keep it active and reload it every time, actively hindering your browser into doing what it wants to do, which is give people a quick experience. Magento does this itself, always, happy dancing. Which sucks. So, in RUM, what do we see? We see that back-forward hit and miss per platform is still almost 74% back-forward cache miss. That could be better. For instance, we see that Shopper has a much better hit, Shopify as well. Magento is actually doing a worse job, but it's still a very big problem. It improved, though. It's not completely hopeless, because we see both in Magento 2 and in Hyvä a small improvement, and that makes sense, because there were recently fixes on back-forward cache, and it's actually a very hot topic. But it's still not solved. So how would you fix it? Because you would want to fix it, because it's such an easy win for user experience. Hyvä actually has a whole explanation on how to fix it. It's behind this QR code, and for your information, I added all the slides into a page. You can QR it at the end of the day, so no need to take pictures. Feel free to do so, though. But on the back end, you need to get rid of that cache control no store. You need to do it from the varnish Magento 2. You also need to add event handlers to detect a back-forward cache restore. If you want to make your life a bit easier, there's actually a very cool extension which fixes this, made by El Gentles and some other smart people, which I absolutely recommend you to add to your code base. Because what it does is it helps you restore the BF cache and also do much more things with caching that are very valuable for you in your Magento store. But the real fix is from our little friend, our little birdie. He's called Sean, he's on the front here. Is that he wants to fix it in Magento 2 itself, which would be awesome. So if we could get that, he's very happy that I'm doing this, you can see that. But if we do that, then this whole issue gets resolved, and we can decide ourselves when we want caching and when we do not. So if it ships, and let's make sure it ships, it's now out of the public realm, it needs to happen, we will absolutely vote it up, right? Right. So, and repeat, because every time RUM will always check if you had a back-forward hit or miss, and keep telling you about it. So, our last one, query strings or ads. What's in the code? Well, the code says, hey, this is a cache hit, but if we add a little parameter behind it, let's reload it from cache all over again, because it's obviously a completely different page, which it's not. So our RUM will automatically scan this one for you and tell you, hey, add this to your caching rules, making your life much easier. It also automatically checks, actually, if you guys did fix it. You don't always have to tell us. We just run it automatically, scan everything, and make your life easier. So the fix, well, is actually triple on this one. This is actually sounds very easy, and it can be if you fix it. But if you don't, there are 3 points of things where you need to do it. Varnish again. So again, that Magento extension that Gentos released is very valuable. Also, make sure you add it in your CDN, Cloudflare, Fastly, whatever. And there's a new one in town that's actually on your front end. It's no search. It's a response header for client-side caching. It's also a great one. And repeat, because every time a new one pops up, and they do, whether it's your marketing department, Google, AI, I don't care. We'll just tell you about it. Every deploy that you do, you can now tell us through an API, or add it manually, and we will tell you can compare it, health checks run, it's all very practical. You can export your data from us to wherever you want it. AI, custom dashboard, GitHub, and actually coming very soon, an MCP to tell you what's happening, also nice, and talk even more to your obviously very popular AI servers. And make sure that everyone is staying green. So we want all the percentiles, all the UX, all the first user experience, and everyone on every metric happy, because then we can go to the beach and have happy customers, like some people here already call them partners, very nice, or Google, or whatever. So now that we know we can have our core web vitals on autopilot, we can eat, lunch will be served right now, sleep, have that little siesta, rave, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Or later.